Okay, take a look at this here. How did I go from TIG welding that looks like this to stuff that looks like this in only a couple of hours? Get your notepad ready, this is gonna be a good one. I've got a very special exercise that is going to help you out a lot. And this is an exercise that seriously, so many people either ignore or they don't know about at all. We will get into that in just a little bit. First, let's get warmed up here. Not only am I super rusty after taking so much time off from welding, but I'm making things even harder for myself by setting up and starting out with a brand new welding machine. This might be as close to starting from scratch as I was back in the day when I first started learning. And after putting it together and setting it up, I'm pretty sure I have the settings that I want. And again, I'll share my settings when I get them perfectly dialed in. Stay tuned for that. Okay, I'm flashing up here. You can see that as I get going with my first weld here, just running on a flat piece of plate, taking a look at it after the fact, things definitely do not look as they should. Gross. Okay, good thing we started out on a piece of plate before we got too crazy. Okay, it seems like I have some settings that I need to make some adjustments to. We can see that this pass, as we're looking at it, has some contaminant. We can actually see the appearance of it looks quite sandy or grainy. There's a couple adjustments off the top of my head that I'm pretty confident are gonna give me some better results. I tried a balance setting that I actually was just using on my last machine I had here. Small differences between different machines as well as different projects that you're working on can have a big effect on the balance setting on your machine. So the setting of balance is gonna be the first adjustment that I make here. The other thing I noticed as I was welding that the gas running through my regulator was a little bit low. I'm gonna make some adjustments to the amount of gas I'm using, and I'm gonna double check everything using my flow meter here. Between making adjustments to my balance setting as well as making some adjustments and tweaking my gas levels a little bit, these are gonna be some things that help me out with fixing a grainy or sandy looking finish. Again, I'm gonna run some experiment passes and see what I like best. And again, hang tight. When I get my settings perfect, I'll post them here for you to check out. Okay, now that I am more comfortable after making some adjustments to my machine, and I'm actually testing each adjustment that I make by throwing down a couple passes on a flat piece of plate. Again, some scrap stuff, whatever, doesn't matter. After doing a few of these and making adjustments each time, I'm now getting results that I'm kind of happy with. Okay, I said starting out with a new machine, this can obviously take some time to figure out little adjustments on any good day. But like I said, I've been away for like over 3 months, so it's a little more challenging today. Okay, now that we're ready to go, I'm getting set up on a fresh piece of material here, or so I think. But as I am welding, I'm actually noticing that something is wrong. I'm using a fume extraction system in here, but I notice there is a weird smell that I should not be smelling. When I finish welding, I pick up the plate, I flip it over, and this has to be one of the dumbest mistakes that I can make. I did not peel the plastic sheeting off the back of the practice coupon before I started. This explains the weird smell as well as the mess that I now have to clean up off my table. Okay, this is actually not the first time I've done this. One time I actually got set up to teach a whole classroom full of high school students, and as soon as I started the first weld on the demonstration I was doing for them, I knew I'd done the exact same thing immediately. That one was a little more embarrassing because obviously I had an audience right in front of me that day. I had to play it pretty cool, brush that one off. No big deal though, grab a fresh piece of plate, peel the backing off, make sure it's nice and clean, carry on as if nothing ever happened. Don't act like you've never made mistakes like this before either. Okay, fresh start here again. Right away, everything is running much better on this one. The puddle is super stable. The results are turning out really consistent. You can see by looking at this one here, the results look nice and smooth. The puddle looks exactly how it should. We don't see any grainy or sandy appearance to it at all. Again, take a look at the first one, and then back to the results that we just made after making a few adjustments with our settings. Now I'll make a few more adjustments as I'm still getting going with some of these exercises, but these are the settings that I ended up settling on right here. You can pause or rewind the video and review these if you want, but let's get welding. From this point on, I'm just gonna run several more passes on this plate and just fill up the empty space I have on it. I'm gonna make sure that I either let it cool completely in between passes or quench it in water to make sure it stays nice and cool. Now that I'm happy with my settings and I'm running passes repeatedly on this plate, it's gonna help me to shake off a lot of the nerves that I had and get more comfortable with this again. Okay, now that I'm comfortable here and set up properly, I'm gonna move on to the next thing here. I'm gonna start running some fillet joint passes, and I'm actually gonna start, very importantly, in the 45-degree position. Working on this joint in the 90-degree position makes things a lot more challenging actually with this joint. You're gonna find you always have gravity pulling on one side more than the other, and the visibility sucks with it. You can't see anything very well. You can see putting it in a little fixture like this, holding it in a 45-degree position, it's gonna make the pull of gravity equal on either side of the joint. Now, especially if you're just first learning this one, this is a very important tip to follow. Even for myself, after being away from my welding shop for over 3 months basically, This is a great way to shake the rust off, get comfortable again. And then once I'm happy with some results, I'm gonna now position it and run it in the 90-degree position. So stepping up the difficulty a bit here. Working my way up to some hard stuff that we're gonna go over, I'm now stepping up the difficulty just a little bit. When I'm finished, I just wanna see consistency between the two versions of this joint. Whether it was done in a 45-degree position or a 90-degree position, I just wanna see consistency with the overall shape, profile, consistency, and all those little details that I teach. We always want to see the size looking consistent from start to finish. We want to see the edges blending in smoothly. Again, working on this one with an easier version instead of just jumping into the 90-degree version like a lot of people do. This is a great way that we can take all of the stability and comfort that we developed in the last exercise we just did, and we can now transfer all of these details over to this new, more challenging version of a joint that we're doing. Now, that was a lot of fun, and because we just did that, we're gonna go over the same version, but with an outside corner joint. Once again, you can see I'm setting up to work on this one in a 45-degree position. Once I'm happy with the results that I get in the 45-degree position, I'm then gonna clamp it and try it in a 90-degree position. Again, same thing. And then when I'm finished, I'm gonna take a look at the results. You can see that across both of these joints, the 45-degree version compares really nicely to the 90-degree version. Especially after trying these ones a couple times to build up my confidence again, this is when you're gonna start to see the results of these ones start to look more and more consistent. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do here, this one is a lot more challenging. Ready? Let's get creative and make this one a little bit of fun. I've got 3 plates and I'm going to position them with a couple angles here. You can see when I assemble these together, I got a couple cool joints that I get to do. I'm gonna clean the material properly, assemble everything with strategic tacking, and then I'm gonna position it however I need to get comfortable. Okay, this one's a little more challenging. I'm set up comfortable, let's check it out. Okay, welding on some outside corner work here. Heading into a corner, I have to reposition my filler material angle. This one's a little bit awkward, but I'm gonna take a look. Once it looks pretty good, I'm gonna then flip it over, and I'm gonna position myself to start welding around the base. Making sure that I connect everything properly, making sure that I turn my corners with good consistency, keeping everything as consistent as I can. Let's take a look. Okay, we can see that the outside corner work looks pretty good. I just practiced this with a previous joint, but now, especially as I traveled into the corner here, it was tough to get my filler in comfortably. This angle was tricky. The stuff around the base looks like it turned out really well. This one was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this little exercise. But I actually have an idea of how I'm gonna make this one a little more challenging. This is where it gets interesting. Ready? I'm gonna assemble the joint together like I did before, but I'm gonna cut these corners on a 45-degree angle. I'm gonna prep it to make sure it sits nice and flat, and you can see that after assembling this one, even though it's almost the exact same joint we just did, we get a way different exercise here. This version looks a little more tricky, but this one looks like a lot of fun. Okay, stop, take a break. What is this super secret fancy exercise that I keep referring to in this episode here? I'm gonna tell you about it right now. It is not an actual one specific exercise, but it is a certain way and a certain order that we do different exercises. Today when I was getting set up to get going in here, I had some challenges that I had to start with. New machine, hadn't welded in like months. We started out with the most basic stuff. That way, if there was any problems that would creep up, we'd be able to catch them right away and know how to take care of them. If I just jumped right in with a more challenging welding exercise or something like that, experiencing problems, I would essentially have no idea what is actually the cause of it. Tackling these exercises in a simple and strategic order, each time you make the jump into the next more challenging version of what it is you are doing, these are gonna be like checkpoints for you. If all of a sudden you switch to a more challenging exercise and all of a sudden you're experiencing problems, you're gonna know that the last thing you did was turning out perfect, and all of a sudden now we have a problem. We now know what might be the culprit to cause that problem. Creating these checkpoints is a nice way to make sure we're working through these exercises strategically. We're gonna make sure that we identify and take care of any problems as they come up, and we're gonna stay on track as we work our way into more difficult stuff. Again, we're running some outside corner joint on this one like we did last time, but the angles of the fillet joint going around the base are much different on this one. Now that we're all done, we can take a look at it. We can see this one turned out pretty good as well. The outside corner work looks pretty consistent and controlled. There's a few areas with the finish I might like another try at, but whatever. And again, all the lines going around the base and the shape of it are all connected properly. We can see the lines on the base stay nice and straight and they match the profile. Okay, something like this is a lot of fun to do at this point. I put in the work earlier with simple exercises to make sure everything is running well. And now, like an hour later, I'm super warmed up, feeling really good. I felt confident about the results I got with easier stuff. Now I'm actually working on some more challenging stuff. Let's keep going. Here's where we make things a lot more challenging. I'm gonna take a piece of pipe, and you can see that it has been cut on a 45-degree angle like this here. Now, because I cannot obviously wire brush in a perfect circle, I'm going to use a 3M Scotch-Brite pad. I'm going to brush the base to a uniform finish so that it is nice and clean. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the pipe. I'm going to make sure I use cleaning solution, everything to get all the contaminants off. Once I'm happy with it, we're ready to go. On this side of the pipe, the angle of the fillet is going to be really tight. Whereas going around the other side of the joint, we can see that the fillet angle is actually really open here. Welding around a piece of pipe in a fillet joint configuration, but especially doing it on a 45-degree angle like that, this is challenging, but a lot of fun. Working my way around the radius and trying to maintain shape and control. This gives you a lot to deal with on the fly, but it is a great way to build consistency. When I'm all done looking at it, I'm thinking, heck, why not? Let's just throw a little welder on the top of the pipe like this and see how controlled we can get this as well. Going around precariously balancing this one on the edge of the pipe was a lot of fun. I'm even gonna make sure that I do my start stop, so I leave my button that it matches up with the button around the fillet going around the pipe down below. I am so thrilled on that one. That one was a lot of fun. I actually had so much fun, I set it up for a second time and redid it. Pretty amazing. I was feeling super rusty, like absolutely super nervous when I started out these exercises here just a couple hours ago. I am now completely acquainted with this new machine that I'm working with here. My settings I ended up picking are really good for what I was using here today, as well as what I'm comfortable with. And the exercises that I did kept me on track while I was working through them. And look where I ended up for exercises. This one was a lot of fun. Now, with my programs online, I teach this kind of stuff to people all the time. This isn't just a one-off thing that works. I tell people in my program to work through strategic exercises in a specific order all the time. It's going to help to build consistency and build confidence as you work your way through one exercise to the next. But with this advice that I give to people, here's the problem. Not everybody listens to it. If you want to get good with TIG welding, do what most people do not. I've given so much good information and strategic processes in this episode. Go out and try it now. Do a random act of kindness for a stranger today. I am Dusty James. Fill and chill. We will talk soon. Peace.